I could do, and you were talking about that how you want to help in establishing a scientific library together with ICCF, and we're really looking forward to that for that to happen as well. But at the moment, we are all, of course, totally devastated by what's going on. But at the same time, it gives us so much joy to see you here from inside Ukraine. I think you're in your hometown now, Ulm, right? And
Yes,
so, and otherwise, normally when you're not weaving camouflage for tanks or other jobs that you have to do now, then you are senior lecturer at Pavlo Tyshina Human State Pedagogical University in Oman. And so, and please, then you can also maybe introduce yourself more to choirs you normally conduct, and where in Ukraine are you right now?
dear colleagues, dear friends, thank you, Thomas, thank you, Michael. Thank you for your interest to the Ukrainian choral music. Thank you for taking the time. I'm sincerely grateful to the organizers for the invitation to join such an important, for me, warm, friendly meeting. It is a great honor for me to be among the wonderful choir conductors, wonderful colleagues, friends who implemented such an initiative and gave the opportunity to tell their audience about Ukrainian culture. Can I afford a little introduction to talk about Ukrainian culture? Yes. To tell the audience here about the age-old culture of our people as a nation, about the culture to which it has come a long way. That path did not lead to a quiet grove. It did not follow flowering meadows. The path of our people has always been a thorny path. Today, it is already known all over the world that the Ukrainian culture, the eternal culture of our people as a nation, has passed a long thorny path of formation for the long centuries of its existence. Ukrainians have proved that we have the right to live freely, that our people are a separate people who have their own culture and original, unique culture, that in the past we have our own history, our own life, but our language has a long history too. And despite all the obstacles that have always stood in our way, the Ukrainian people have formed their own beliefs, formed a great culture, and one can only wonder and reverence how our people have achieved such a great culture in such an extremely thorny way. Now, and no matter which way we look at life, we will see everywhere how the Ukrainian people originally and uniquely composed their culture. Everywhere in everything, these people put their mark, a scene of rich culture and bright talent. Let's take our song. Our songs as are a quiet paradise. They are attractive charms, those charms that are recognized by the whole world for us. There were times when even Moscow sang our songs. Love songs appeared early in Ukraine and were soon brought to the north. For example, seminarians in Kostroma in the middle of the 18th century sang songs Ой за гаєм, гаєм зелененьким, Ой полова горлиця лебеду, and so on. These songs were carried to Moscow by our fellow teachers who were then scattered through Russia. In Moscow and Petrograd in the second half of the 18th century, our folk song was very common, as can be seen in the handwritten or printed singers Chulkova, Novikova, and others, where there have always been Ukrainian songs. In the manuscripts of the 18th century, we find many Ukrainian folk songs reworked in the Moscow style. We say «Посію лободу, да орав мужик при дорозі». Our song was very reflected in the church singing. So listen to the lover singing and you will recognize the motifs of our folk songs and our old Cossack thoughts. That is why singing in our churches for centuries has always attracted foreigners. That is why our singing was adopted in Moscow. Ukrainian singers were invited and they taught Moscow this sweet singing. Ukrainian church singing was very much to the liking of the Tsar and Patriarch, and it quickly spread through the kingdom. Noble people in Moscow often invited Ukrainian musicians to their service, and they taught them music and singing. In the 17th century, Ukrainian singers were often invited to the Tsarist and patriarchal choirs, and in the 18th century, Kiev students were also taken as singers to court chapels. Ukrainians served as organists at the court of Tsar Mikhailo Fedorovich. Our philosopher Grigory Skovoroda was also a singer in Petrograd. We have always been interested in our songs, and in 1819, the first printed collection of Ukrainian Kobzar songs. And our song has remained just as sweet, charming, and attractive to this day. It remained so, although at times we were forbidden to sing. Our song was banished from school, banished from life, and the Nightingale of Ukraine, the late Mykola Lysenko, was not allowed to put words under the notes. Only notes were allowed to be published. However, this smooth song was loud. I suggest you listen to the spiritual anthem of Ukraine, God Great One, Save Ukraine for Us, performed the National Honored Academic Choir of Ukraine Dumka, established in 1919 under the direction of Yevhen Savchuk, music by Mykola Lysenko, founder of the National Secular School of Composition. Could I share my screen, please? Let's remember the old Ukrainian Cossack thoughts, known to the whole world. They have great literary value, overwhelmed with sorrow. Our thoughts make a great impression even on strangers. It is not foolish that even the church became interested in them and transferred the singing of all thoughts to its singing. The vast achievements of antiquity, the thoughts had a great influence on old and new Ukrainian literature. Федько Дворецький, Гоголь, Квітка, Шевченко, Щоголів, and will have a significant impact with the growth of Ukrainian national consciousness. The Ukrainian people have formed their own music, formed their own musical instrument. Remember our lira, kobza, big pipe, turban. However, the topic of our webinar is much narrower, so I will talk about contemporary Ukrainian choral music, contemporary Ukrainian composers who are currently creating their masterpieces. Some still remain in Kyiv under enemy missile fire, Lysydichko, for example. Some of them in the temporarily occupied Donetsk continue to write arrangements of Ukrainian folk songs, Alexander Nekrasov. Some composers have been forced to leave their homes due to an extremely difficult situation and continue to create their wonderful music abroad. With your permission, I want to begin an excursion into modern Ukrainian choral art with the work of the incomparable Hanna Gavrilets, who passed away on the first day of Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. Composition Troparion to the Blessed Virgin, performed by the Kyiv Chamber Choir under the direction of Maestro Mykola Hovdich. You can see the squares in our chat. And I will try share again. The theme of the image of the Mother of God as an undisputed guardian for the needy and tireless help for the faithful is present in the works of almost all composers today. One of the main factors in the diversity of the repertoire of the Virgin Mary is the artistic value of the liturgical text of the Virgin Mary, in which the Blessed Virgin Mary is depicted not only as a mighty mistress, Queen of Heaven, but also as a merciful patroness. The Blessed Virgin Mary is the patroness of Ukrainian soldiers. Hanna Havrelets creates the music of incredible beauty, as in the squares Light a Candle, Ukrainian folk song about unhappy life of young girl after the marriage. I would like to share a performance of the student choir of the Odessa National Music Academy under the direction of Maestro Halina Shpak, the academy where I studied. Anna Gavrilets is a representative of the Lviv School of Composers. She studied in Lviv, later in Kiev, but with Miroslav Skorik, who himself was educated in Lviv. Miroslav Skorik passed away almost 2 years ago, a bright personality, the author of the famous Melodia, which was created for the film Hyatt Pass, based in part of the real events of World War II. The film was intended to illustrate the tragedy of families whose members found themselves on opposite sides of the barricades. If possible, I will ask a colleague from Sweden, dear Sofia, to demonstrate this composition performed by her choir. The choir's repertoire includes a lot of Ukrainian music.
Yes, and unfortunately, I don't have the possibility to use my recording of the song, but I have another one that is really nice. So I will show you that one, and it is also for orchestra if needed, and in this case, it's orchestra included. You can sing it a cappella as well. So let's see here now. and it's the score is written. All you heard in the orchestra is written for choir as well. So they weren't singing all the time now, but it's completely possible to do it a cappella as well. And may I, Oksana, also do the next song while we're at it? Is it all right? Okay,
Yes,
because we did this song this last Sunday in a big charity concert with, it was 4.5 hours long concert with musicians from all Stockholm. And in the beginning of that concert, this was in the end of the concert. And at the beginning of that concert, we also did another piece that is, as I understand it, it's one of the songs in Ukraine that almost every choir singer knows. And I'm not sure if the pronunciation is correct if I say Reveta Stonje Dnipr, and then maybe you, Oksana, you could say it better.
Реве та стогне Дніпр широкий.
Yes, and it's a song that is about a great river that flows no matter what, right? Yes, so we did this in the beginning of the concert, and this was last Sunday, and you have a choir in front of you, but what you cannot see is you have also a choir on your right and a choir on your left. So we have 150 singers or so on. So I'll show you this now then. Greetings from Stockholm.
Thank you, Sophia. Brilliant. I will continue about Kiev School of Composers. Viktor Stepurko represents the Kiev School of Composers. Viktor Stepurko's most famous work is the first part of the parable Co-Creation Miracle, a work without text, so it is often performed by foreign choirs. The general idea of the work is the creation of the world by God and its destruction by human civilization, performed by academic choir of Kharkiv Philharmonic, conducted by Andriy Sirotenko. Another bright, although you can find the squares of the miracle, Victor Stepulko, in our chat too. Another bright figure among the composers of the Kiev school, Irina Alexeichuk. Other worldly games is choral composition which is based on the ancient pagan rite, the game about mating. With this rite, people tried to cheat death when the plague came to their homes. Today, Irina Alexeichuk is writing a comment these days. Today, a plague has come to my homeland again, and this plague is Russia, which destroys our cities and kills our people. I really want my music to help destroy the modern Russian plague that threatens the whole world today. Music by Irina Alexeichuk, text by Olena Stepanenko, The Game from the Other Side, Подобічні ігри. Second movement, The Game about Maiden, Гра про панну. Performance of Odessa Female Choir, Oriana, conductor Галина Шпак. The next one, well-known composer, Lesa Dichko, head of the Union of Composers of Ukraine. The Kyiv Chamber Choir presents the liturgy of Lesa Dichko, conductor Mykola Vovdich. Ukrainian composers write a lot of spiritual music. Lesa Dichko.
Самі себе і один одного, і все життя наше Христу Богові дамо. Всіма святими помянувши самі себе і один одного, і все життя наше Христу Богові дамо. зійшов з небес, і воплотився від Духа Святого, і Марії Діви, і Духа Святого й Марії, став чоловіком.
So I have to finish, right? Soon. The content of Ukrainian musical folklore is determined by the worldview and system of values, which outlines the unique image of Ukraine on the bright palette of world culture. The sound of our people is a translator of the spiritual values created by them, national shrines, which over time become more and more important. One of the brightest genres of calendar rituals are spring songs composed by the people in honor of the arrival of spring. In this context, I offer you a composition by Yulia Homelska, a representative of the Odessa School of Composers, performed by the student choir of the Odessa Music National Academy under the direction of Maestro Helena Shpak. Vesnyanka. Can I share two video maybe? Please tell me.
Yes,
Yes, I have.
please do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I can sit here all day.
Oksana, I do believe that the session will end at 10:30. I think because of through the university, the parameters that we set at the beginning. So, but let's share as much as we can.
That's another 15 minutes then, so that's fine.
significant achievement of the national musical art is the choral music of contemporary Ukrainian authors based on folk sources. It testifies to the deepening of artists' attention to song folklore, their search for new approaches to it and non-standard methods of its development. A striking example of this is the work of Alexander Nekrasov. Free arrangement gives great creative freedom. The melody of the song determines the main intonation content of the work, but is finally released from the harmonious pressure, can undergo significant changes and acquires the qualities of the theme to which other voices strive. On this basis, the possibilities of original shaping are significantly expanded and any limitations in the textures of the materials are overcome. Additional means of musical expression come from the category of auxiliary and, along with the main ones, play a significant role in the sound recording and drama of the work. Transformation of a melody into a theme that takes place in free arrangement is an important step in the process of mastering folklore, its reintonation. Alexander Nekrasov rearrangement on the theme of Ukrainian folk song about love by Siva Zuzulinka, Nelitai Ranenko, a love song for mixed choir about a girl who can't wait for her fiancé from the war, a love song for mixed choir. I will share the link in our chat. And I also want to show the work of the composer from Umay, my hometown, Sergei Zhelezniak, at the fair, performed by the children choir Zabava, conductor Svetlana Smirnova also. I will share this link in chat too. And at the end of my narrative, I offer a fragment of a unique musical work by Yevhen Stankovich, Passions for Taras Shevchenko, performed by the academic choir of the Ukrainian radio and the national honored academic symphony orchestra of Ukraine under the direction of Maestro Yulia Tkach. Yevhen Stankovich took poems that embody very important human problems, philosophical problems. Passion for Taras is a new great musical form, unique in its melodic gift, symbolic images. It is mythological. Yevhen Stankovich, a well-known Ukrainian composer, a representative of the Lviv School of Composers, studied with founder of an innovative compositional style, Boris Yatushinsky. He is also Lesevich co-teacher. Stankovich conveys the word of Kobzar as a wise philosopher and subtle psychologist, lyricist and epic, pantheist and tragedian. The composers addressed to the poetry of Taras Shevchenko, which reveals the drama of the humanization of public life, the collapse of traditional ideals and values. This is a tremendous variety of meanings of the present, connecting the past with the future and hitting the heart of our spiritual energy. The first verse, our soul does not die, the will does not die.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you sincerely for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you so much, Oksana. I don't think this session will end automatically. I just wrote Michael about this. I think it will stay on, but we don't know. But we'll see. There's three more minutes. Well, on behalf of ICCF and all of us, I think, thank you so much for taking us into your world. Although it is the artistic world at the moment. So, any comments from the rest of you?
Oksana, can you briefly describe? I've seen a few videos of music making going on in the country despite the dangers. Uh, can you give us a little sense of what is happening as far as making music? Does it depend, obviously, on the part of the country?
You're back.
Oksana, can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Oksana?
Right. I think maybe she is frozen. Yes.
Yeah, the picture is frozen.
Yes.
No, she just blinked her eyes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, until she comes back, and depending on if we do have to end the session, I hope that you all will spread the word. Unfortunately, I don't think this uh, live broadcast was able to reach as many people as we'd hoped. And so we hope that you will share it now as it has been archived through not only Zoom, but through the Facebook Live. And we hope that you will spread the word about the mission of ICCF and what we are trying to do here as an organization, and what a great first venture we have had to, well, just show our brothers and sisters in Ukraine that we stand with them and our thoughts are with them. Oksana, are you back with us?
Not yet. I just sent her a message that she could connect with us again. We are still here.
Okay. I don't know about you all, but I was so impressed with the tone quality throughout, and particularly for the basses as a bass myself. I was really jealous of many of those recordings. So, and
Yes, and I think what's really important now is that there will be a time. Oksana talks a lot about spring, and she also does that in my daily communication with her. She talks about spring. She comes back to spring all the time, and it's kind of that we'll hope there will be a spring for Ukraine, and they will definitely need our attention, a lot of it, in building up a country again and support. So in any ways we can support them. We have a channel through Oksana to use this, to do this, and we should use it as much as possible. Offer them a hand in any way we can think. I think that is really, really important in the aftermath of this this war, because it will end. It must end.
yes, yes, definitely. Sophia, do you have time to just briefly describe the concert that you all organized so quickly?
Yeah, it was in Stockholm. We have a church musician, Iveta Irka, and she is also a brilliant pianist as well. And her father was a choral conductor, and she's from Ukraine. She moved here 20 years ago or something like that, maybe even more. And she actually asked the church if she could do some kind of charity concert already a week before the invasion.
Wow.
And so they started planning for this concert, and then all of a sudden, Russia invaded Ukraine. And she had planned for a concert that was perhaps 2 hours long or something like this. But when she kept asking musicians and choirs if they wanted to join, of course, everyone said yes. And it ended up being a concert, a 4.5 hours concert with the 2 10-minute breaks only. And it was, let me see, 5 choirs participating, I think. The Stockholm's Musikgymnasium and the Adolf Fredriks music classes, which are the two most prominent school for young choral singers here in Stockholm. And then there were also 2 really good choirs from this region, and also a bigger choir consisting of singers from other really good choirs, as well as the Erik Eriksson Chamber Choir and professional ensembles. And there was an orchestra with musicians from the radio orchestra and the Philharmonic Orchestra, and many very, very famous and brilliant musicians in always pianists and singers and saxophonists, you name it. So it was a lovely concert. And Iveta Irka, she also invited her piano students to play, and she just recently she managed to get her family to Sweden. So they arrived just a day before the concert or something like this. I don't remember exactly. And they were also there. Of course, not the men, because they're not allowed to leave Ukraine, as you perhaps know. But the women and the children came to Sweden. Her son, he drove to Poland to get them, which is a very long way to drive, of course, another country, passing through some countries on the way. So he drove there with a friend and picked them up, and now they're in Sweden, and they were also attending this concert. So it was a very long, a very touching concert, I would say. And it was not only Ukrainian music, but a lot of Ukrainian music, of course. It was I think everyone just wanted to do something, and this is one of the things we can do. And there was also a possibility then to donate money to Röda Korset. It's an organization that works for Red Cross in English. And we raised at least 25,000 euro or something like this, at least.
Outstanding.
Because for of course everybody did it for free to raise this money. And there's a lot of projects like this going on right now in Sweden. I think for Swedes, since as you may know, our colors on our flag, it's the same. So when we have a thinner flag, a model that is thin, then it looks the exact way as the Ukrainian flag. So if you travel to Sweden and look at the small country house, and so all the flags are actually the Ukrainian flag. So it's not only close geographically, it's close to our hearts as well in some way.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Sophia. Well, I think we may have Oksana, are you able to hear us?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay,
I'm
wonderful.
Are
on
you
my
up there? Yes.
I'm here on my phone.
I see.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, we want to say we are so appreciative of the time that you have shared with us. I was just taken back by the diversity of the music that you shared, and I have been enriched greatly, and I know that ICCF has as well. And from me, I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your efforts, for giving me such an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we are all here for you and your colleagues and your wonderful country as much as we can. We try to do as much as we can, and we will help you rebuild your country again in many different ways. No doubt.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now you be safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
need
yes, of course.
All right. Thank you again, Oksana, and it was a joy to be with all of you today. And let's keep Ukraine in our prayers and any way that we can help.
Yes.
Okay. All the best, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Lovely seeing you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you,
Bye.
Oksana. Thank you.